Hello and welcome to Take Me Through Your Day. On this episode of our pre-pandemic podcast, we have a pharmacy tech associate. It's a pretty interesting job, and I think you're going to like it. As per usual, if you or someone you know would like to be on the show, you can reach us at TakeMeTYD on all social media and TakeMeTYD.com. Enjoy the show. What do you do for a living?
Well, I'm considered, on paper, pharmacy technician associate.
Okay.
That is my title. But what I do is I package robot medications for hospitals around the area.
What do you mean by robot medication?
So, have you ever went to the Carnegie Museum and up on the third floor, there's that robot area?
Okay.
Okay. So there's one where a robot actually goes across and suction cups a barcode.
Yeah.
That's it right there. That's the product I make. And the robot itself, so in the hospitals, they have a robot that is on a conveyor in a way. Or track, you should say, and it has thousands of different medications in it, and the pharmacist will put in for the patient what they have daily. So if it's Tylenol 3 times a day, they'll put in 3, it will suction off 3 Tylenol and put it in its folder. Okay. And then leave it for the pharmacist. The pharmacist will triple check to make sure that it's the correct drug for the correct patient, right route, and everything, and then it's sent up to the units to the patient.
Okay, so this is inside a hospital.
Everywhere.
Well, where do you physically work?
I physically work in the. I cannot say the distribution because of the.
I was going to censor out the area anyway, but I mean, okay. Is it a physical hospital or is it more of a pharmacy?
It's a warehouse.
Warehouse. Okay.
Yeah. Probably. Yeah. Maybe you might want to do.
Yeah, I'll cut the whole thing out.
Sorry.
A warehouse.
Yes.
Work at a warehouse.
Yeah.
So I guess let's just start.
Technically, the warehouse is off radar. When you go to look it up, you can't find it.
And I imagine that's on purpose.
Yeah.
To keep whatever away. Okay, so I was gonna say we'll just start with your day, but let's go back a little bit. Mm-hmm. In say high school, did you know what you wanted to do?
No.
What was kind of in your head in those high school years?
At the time when I was graduating, I was set to do early intervention, with learning with children with disabilities. Unfortunately, at that time, my mother got really sick and she nearly died on us. And I stopped school and I had to save our home. I gave all my money that was saved up for college, and basically I was working 3 jobs at once. So technically, and whatever little college I did put myself through, I did bartending school, I did a few classes of American Sign Language, and I did a CPR class. I went for an EMT, but I did not want to do that.
But you were still kind of leaning into the medical field.
I was sort of, yeah.
With the exception of the bartending school.
Yeah, exactly.
I went to bartending school too, and it was just the biggest waste of money.
I know.
I don't know
was it Pittsburgh bartending school?
I forget what it was called. It was out in Crafton or something like that.
Was it is it past the tunnels?
Yeah.
Oh, we probably went to the same one.
But they told me, and it wasn't first class, but it was one of the last class, and they were like, "Don't tell anyone that you took this."
What?
It's what? Why are you telling me that? They were just they're less likely to hire someone that went through school. They want to hire someone in house and teach them that way. It's then what did I pay you for?
Yeah, what the heck?
It's just a weird sidetrack.
Come on, get.
So, all right. So you're leaning into the medical field a little bit. Mm-hmm. Let's take us just from kind of that point until where you got this job.
Okay. Let's see. I had a foster brother. My dad got him into the hospital that he works at, and at the time, I just got laid off at it was called It was in, and my foster brother was like, well, they're hiring. I could put your name in. And my mother did not want me going in because she had a bad experience. But I put my application in, my foster brother as a reference, and I got in. I got in as an MDA, which was Med Delivery Assistant. And I started out at bare minimal. And for about the first 6 months that I was there was a manager who saw potential in me and then put me through the pharmacy program of PIT there. And I did I don't want to call it semester, but I graduated that class. And then I went on to getting my certificate for a certified board of pharmacy technician
now,
for the state of Pennsylvania.
Is this something they paid for, or they just encouraged you?
They paid for.
Okay, that's
and
awesome.
In order for me not to pay it back, I had to be there a year.
Okay, and initially getting the job, you didn't have to have any prior school. Okay.
Cool. No, because technically at the time I wasn't mixing IVs. I was just delivering medications to the units, so I wasn't really in direct patient contact.
All right.
And I started in there in 2007.
Okay, so you've been there for a while.
Yeah.
And that's cool that they pay for the schooling. Like that's another one that I always love to touch on in this, like getting your foot in the door and then the job itself can push you forward.
Well, they don't even now. What's shocking is I don't think they even offer that now. Like I was one of the last classes.
A lot of places don't do it when they used to.
Yeah, like that's so like it's. I think it's beneficial for people, especially if you want the in-house. Mm-hmm. Like that just would be great.
Absolutely.
To have.
There's so many jobs out there that, like, I mean, just the ones I've worked in the past, where you can stay and you could do great, and there is no room for just climbing up a ladder. There's no more rungs. You're there and that's it.
Right.
So I've always loved jobs like that. I think that's really cool.
Right.
So, all right, so let's get into an average day then. So what time are you waking up?
Now? Ooh.
Yeah, let's just go with
5 o'clock.
5 o'clock?
Yeah, 5 o'clock I wake up.
You set an alarm?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, if not, my children are my alarm. If not, I'm already up. Depending on what time, like 3 or 4 in the morning. By the time I get there, it's about 5:30 because the parkway's not so packed at that time.
Okay. As far as like morning routine goes, though, what are you getting done in that time from waking up to heading out the door?
Normally at that time, I'm just getting ready in general, and then getting my lunch prepared and hopping in the car at that point, making sure that I have the kids' book bags out, so with school and everything, everything's set for my husband the next day, or oops, I forgot a book bag in the car, gotta run it back upstairs. And sometimes I do that. Then my youngest will throw his shoes off, so then I gotta hurry up, take the shoes back up because I caught them in the car as I was getting in the car. I'm like, there's just so room for error in the morning sometimes. That's normally my back. I gotta go back for that reason. Gotcha. Or I have done many of times, put the shoes on top of the car, drove off, and the shoes are on the street. My husband's picking them up.
Fantastic.
He goes, I found a shoe on the road. And I'm like, oh, geez. He was like, we gotta stop. We're losing too many shoes. I'm like, oh, okay.
We're losing too many shoes. All right, so your commute, you said, is not very long.
No.
But what are you doing on that commute? Are you listening to anything?
Yeah, actually. So there's a couple things I listen to. One, I listen to either our church, which is Grace Life Church. So I'll recap the weekend of service if we were or were not in service, or I'll listen to Joyce Myers.
Okay.
Or I listen to what's the other one? Oh, geez. It's 98.3. Oh no, I can't think of it. It's my favorite channel. Well, 98.3. It's the Christian channel. This is all I know.
This is all regular radio stations.
Yeah, all regular radio stations. Right. Now, if I'm if I'm into a book, I'll listen to my book. I have Audible on my phone. So, like, right now I'm in the Five Nights at Freddy series.
Okay.
And I've been listening to that in the car because my oldest wants to read the book. And I'm like, let me read the book before you do because I want to make sure it's not, like,
Yeah.
you know. And he's like, you're listening to all of them and I'm not reading them. Well,
Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do.
you know. But, I mean, there is a bad perk sometimes because if there's an accident, rain, snow, it could get backed up on the parkway like there's no tomorrow. So then I'm stuck in traffic.
All right, so let's just say your average day commute. What do you, just a rough idea how long that takes?
I know I drive 17 miles a day there and back. Well, both. 17 miles there, 17 miles back. I
And that's mostly highway miles, though.
highway, yeah. But I would say probably roughly about an hour total. Like if you were to, like, 20 minutes in the morning, and then the majority of it is coming home because everybody else is trying to get home.
Exactly.
You know, and then rushing to get to him at that point.
Gotcha. So, all right, so you get to the building, warehouse, whatever. What's the parking situation like?
We park on site. There's like little arms that go up when we scan our badge. Normally, kind of right now, we're on overtime. So, like, the doors don't open up till a certain time. So we're kind of like hovering by the door because there's guys that go in earlier before us and they'll let us in. So right now, currently, I'm rushing to get to the door so that way the other girls, when they come in, I can let them in and we all clock on early. So we get our overtime because I can't stay later because of the kids. But if I can clock on early, I'm going to do that. So I hurry up. Get in the door, text them, let them know I'm here. They'll text me, tell me they're outside. I'll let them in. Then we're running back and forth. So that is a little chaotic. Like today I went for a walk and then because I was like, one of the guys might not be here. So I decided to walk, get some steps in. And then all of a sudden I was like, oh no. And then he walked in. I'm like, ugh, there it goes. Like couldn't do it. So I had to wait for somebody else. I was like, this is what I get for wanting to walk.
So, roundabout what time are you punching it?
Right now, I am punching in anywhere from 5:35 to 5:45. And then I'm there till 2:30.
All right. So, you get in there, you punch in. What are some of the first actions you have to kind of handle?
See, that's the thing. There's not like a set thing because we are we're a small group, and sometimes that can be a good thing but a curse at the same time. But we have products that are listed on a shelf, and basically it's logging onto a computer, signing in your name, and then the product itself you're entering into the system. So you're entering in like a lot number and an expiration, and it's kind of like a site lot, all this stuff. You have to make sure the manufacturer is correct, the NDC is correct. You know, the thing is when you're repackaging something, you're making sure it's going into the right area, because if there's an error on somebody else's end and it comes back, we have to trace it. So it's following steps and procedures.
But there's some kind of like redundancy there to make sure that everything ends up in the right place.
Yes.
It's not just what you do and could be
Right.
sent off. Okay, good.
Right, yeah. No, we have a workflow because what it is like somebody checks it in. When they check it in, we put it in. Then after when we put it in, we are packaging the pills itself into the new packagings, and then at that point we're checking the barcode, the expiration, the NDC again, the manufacturer, the day that we're packaging it, because that's the other thing. It would lead to like who the person is packaging that, what machine it's on. So you're kind of like looking for the 5 rights in that type of aspect. And so there's triple checking going on, because then after I check it, then a pharmacist checks it.
Yeah.
So there's like 3 checks at that point.
Okay, that's what I assumed. So just paint me a picture of kind of like your work area. Is it like an office? Is it like an assembly line? Where are we at here? Somewhere in the middle?
So like think of like a big room like this that we're in, with machines that are like maybe this wide.
So like 3 feet by 2.5 feet?
Yeah,
something
something like that. And you are basically maybe about 2.5 feet away from a person side by side.
Okay.
And so they like literally like in the hospital, you could run away from people and not worry about. Right now,
No.
can't do it. Like you're just like you're stuck. And then sometimes like you just put on your headphones and you're just like nope, cutting people out. But so and then like we have a super duper machine that packages almost like 10,000 to 12,000 drugs per day.
Okay.
And that sucker is a big bubba. He spits out a lot of stuff. He is different. He is not a like a machine like we have. Like this, I would say, is probably about like 8 feet tall, 4 feet wide, I'd want to say. And it has tons of compartments that you can put drugs into. Then you're able to do large batches of. So it comes out in like an assembly line.
Okay.
And we reel it onto a singulator that cuts it. And it counts it at that point. So that's like, I almost call it like going fishing. Like when you're reeling it, you're holding it like a fishing rod. And at that point, when it's going through the singulator, it pushes down to cut it and puts it on set on a rod. So they're rods of like 50 and everything.
Okay. Now, I'm still just trying to get the picture of exactly what you're doing. So you're basically staying put, right? You're just stuck in one place?
Stuck in
Now,
one place.
Are you sitting, standing,
We have options to sit or stand. I try to stand as much as possible. There's not a lot of walking. Like, not at all. Yeah. That's probably one disadvantage, like, I miss from the hospital.
Yeah.
The hospital, I think I would walk 8 miles a day, where I got here and I was like 0.2. Like, but there's a computer, the machine. Off to the left, there's like peg boards that you have rods on that after you package, you'll put the medications on. And there is a shelf above you that has more rods and more pegboards. And basically, I mean, that's like it. Like, we're kind of like bare minimal. Like, we're not like we're not a there's a place in Ohio that does a lot more like for other stuff. And they have, like, different technology than we do. Or they have, like, they have a different lineup than we do, I think. I'm not sure how, like, it fully goes. But, and it's not, you have to wear a hairnet, scrubs, proper attire, gloves. And after every drug, we're cleaning the machine. That way there's no cross-contamination at all.
Gotcha.
We deal with NIOSH drugs, so we have to be very careful in that. We have to double gowned up on those because
what is that?
NIOSH is like biohazard, so like chemo meds and all that stuff.
Okay, yeah.
That is so like in that procedure, like I have to double glove. I have to make sure that I wash the whole machine down entirely. Hairnet, mask. Now, like a couple of the NIOShes, I'm allergic to. And, like, I'll bubble up. So, like, I will not, I'm like, I'm not touching those things. But,
how often does that come up?
the NIOSH drug list changes quite often. So it can come up daily. or weekly or monthly, because there's some, like recently in the past year, a lot of the drugs that were on our list last year totally switched and are not considered it. And we're like, well, like, I don't get it. But that's the pharmaceutical end.
Yeah, that just seems like a little extra work when that comes through. Like, is it just you get any warning, or it's like, no, it's time for the...
They'll send it to our manager, and he'll then say something to us about it.
Okay, so say you were training someone for this job. What would your advice be?
My advice. I hope
just say there was a new person in there, and you were like, "Hey, you might want to."
Well, my advice is I hope you like not walking because I know I don't. Like, that was like a major thing because we actually had an interview person come through and they're like, well, what do you think about this? Well, you're not gonna be walking, just know that. Like, and they're like, really? I'm like, really? Like, you know, definitely, it's a big difference because, like, when you're coming from the hospital versus this now, like, in the hospital, there was much more I was doing. And now, like, I'm just like, wait a second. And, like, there's stuff that's coming up and questioning, like, wait, isn't that drug expensive? Like, you know, here's me and my boss is like, well, it used to be. Well, wait, let me go see. And then, like, he's like, no, it's not anymore. But it used to be. And he's like, yeah. And then, like, he's like, how do you know that? I'm like, well, I worked in the hospital. Like, and I used to be an inventory specialist before I came down to where I'm at right now. But,
So that's not just the hot gossip going around?
No.
Oh, this used to be expensive.
Oh, no. I used to order a lot of stuff. I was under the director of finance.
Oh, okay.
So it was a very nice job. He was a very nice man. Unfortunately, he was retiring, and they were wanting to throw me back into the technician route. And who wants to give up no weekends and no holidays? Like, once you get that, you don't want to give that back. Yeah, exactly. So I jumped ship, and that's how I got where I'm at. Like, I was like, I'm not going back.
All right, so let's talk lunch break, I guess. How long are you in there in that scenario? Are you looking at the clock? Like, this is the time? This is like, what's the countdown?
Our countdown is whenever we want to go. Like,
really?
Literally, we are free to go whenever we want to go. And our times have always changed. So, like, technically before we used to have 45 minutes and then a 15-minute break in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Then another person took over. Then it was only a half hour and no 15 minutes.
Gotcha. Another
person took over and nobody said anything, and we went back to 45 minutes total. So it's kind of like he's flexible. He is very flexible, and we go out. Like today, a coworker and I went to and sat, ate lunch, came back, did our 45 minutes, and that was it. But
so this is like a punch-out scenario.
Nope.
Just take your time and...
Take your time. Just make sure you're, like... Because we really don't break the rules. Like, we really... It's kind of like... What you got is good. Don't mess it up.
Yeah.
So, like, we're really kind of tight on that. Like, we don't want to mess that up because we don't want to have to punch.
Yeah.
And our boss is really flexible on that because we have been golden with that.
So... That being said, is there like a quota or something you have to meet in your daily...
There used to be.
Okay.
There is one assigned. So, like, there is, like, for the bulk packagers, for like, there's a 5,000, there's an 8,000, and then there's a 10,000. Like, it depends. Like, you don't have to, but they're on quality of drugs. They want the product to be right, everything to be right for the patient. That's what they are about. And they would rather, if I'm only getting so much and the quality is all out there, And that's what they want. They don't want mistakes, and that's what we
So it's more
eliminate.
like goals than quotas, like
Right.
We're okay.
Yeah, like it's actually like he brought this up the other day. Like, it's not just you, it's us. Like, he really includes us together as a team,
Okay.
and that's one good thing about him. That is really nice.
Yeah, that is nice. Is there any other actions in the day that help you break it up?
My music, my books.
So you can pretty much listen to anything you want?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah. Like,
cool.
now we talk together individually about our lives.
Mm-hmm.
And we talk about, like, you know, something going on TV we saw or whatever. But there's nothing, now, unless something goes wrong with a machine, somebody will come get somebody else. That's, like, probably, like, the bare minimal. Like, my job, honestly, is really easy, but it's sufficient for its work. Because the thing is, you know, and I always look at it this way, because, like, when we were talking the other day, what we're doing, you have to think of your family member. Mm-hmm. And that's another thing, because I think, like, you should work in a hospital to work where we're at, because the thing is, you could just come in, anybody could do it, to be honest with you, but my thing is that I think somebody should go through the hospital first, because it's the patient's safety.
Yeah.
And that's what we have to look at it as, where some people may be like, oh, it's not that big of a deal. No, it is.
Yeah.
It comes from one point and goes to another, and you have to look at it as if that is your family member on the line.
Yeah, so you have to look down the whole line instead of just like, this is a box, this is a pill, this is...
Right.
You know, so, okay.
Right, exactly.
No, that's a good way.
I mean, if anything, I could say, like, it's number one safety. Like, we always, that is our main focus, the patient and the safety for the patient.
Yeah.
So, it's really, it's kind of like a basic job. I mean, there, you know, like, I wish there was more interesting stuff to, like, say and do. I mean, there is, but, like, there's a different machine that we put liquids into for it. That is, like, little cups. Mm-hmm. There's that machine that we use. Another machine that, like, puts a bag over it for the robot. I'm trying to... It's really interesting because, like, you know, the pack machine that will seal that. That's a different machine than a bulk packager machine.
Now, is there someone assigned to that, or do you, like, if you have a certain thing, you have to go work with that?
Every day is a different assignment.
Okay, so at least you have that, so it's not just
like,
monotonous every day.
Mostly, though, it's bulk packager, and you're kind of just like, push. But then once it screws up, you're like, no, I don't want you to screw up today. Like, but I mean, and sometimes I always say the machines are temperamental. They're like children. There be great days, and next day it's just like, what happened? And you're like, I don't know. I'm just like sitting there, and I'm like, that's on backwards. It's on backwards, and then they flip it, and they're like, it was on backwards. I'm like,
well, that being said, do you have any good stories of anything that went down, or, you know, anything that pops into mind? I mean, you've been there for a while. So
they're, yeah. I got in trouble the one time. We were packaging a drug that was split in half, and I accidentally, instead of scanning the paper I was supposed to scan, I scanned the bottle. Mm-hmm. So it went up as the wrong, it was the correct drug, but the wrong, like, size. And my manager at the time, he goes, you did a no-no. You did a no-no. He's screaming at me, and I was like, what did I do? And then I saw what I did. I was like, oh. He goes, it got out. Are you kidding me? And I'm like, I didn't mean to. like, I just, oh, it was a mess. there was I was in the packager area. I get paralyzed with this. I have my bin here, and I'm putting the stuff into what I need to do. Next thing I know, there's a spider in front of my face. I was like, oh no. So I texted my girlfriend. I was literally paralyzed. She goes, you can text me to come help you, but you couldn't get the spider away from you. I was like, I want to deal with the spider. Like, I couldn't deal with the spider. I don't know. Like, I can deal with, like the one day we had a packager giving us a malfunction, and my girlfriend, took a screwdriver, and she was kind of going to put it in. We saw a piece of plastic on the area that we needed to get it off. What we should have done was we should have turned off the machine. Unfortunately, we didn't do that. I'm quick to react on emergency things versus animal things. So it started to spark when she touched the machine with the screwdriver. Right away, as soon as I saw it sparking, I smacked her hand out of the way, and I was like, are you nuts? And she was like, she gave me this look like, you hit me. And I was like, oh my God, she was like ready to get electrocuted. Then, like, shortly, like, hours later, there was a spider running on the floor and me running out the door. She goes, how are you able to react in a situation of sparks, but not a damn spider? I don't know. I don't know. So, like, we, like, there was sparks coming out. Like, it was like, oh my gosh. I'm trying to think. I probably, like, there was, like, some crazy stuff, like, stop, you're good.
Yeah, the listeners should know that we're surrounded by dogs. One enormous dog.
She's the big baby. She's whining over here. I would say, like, so the one time I was pregnant with our second son, and we were in the back, and I'm packaging, and I lifted up my back, and I was like, ooh, and my girlfriend sitting next to me, and she goes, what's ooh? I said, I think I'm having contractions. You gotta go home. Get out of here. She did not want me to go into labor at work, and I did. I was starting to have contractions, and I was like, she was like, are you gonna need an ambulance to get home? And I'm like, no, I think I'm okay. And she goes, are you sure? She shouldn't be driving home. She was trying to get somebody to get me to go home, and I was like, I think I got this. It's just the start. Like, that can last long. But
And did you just drive home?
I did. I did. Right. They were back contractions. They were horrible. Like, even like days later, I was home, and I said, you want to go get TGI Fridays? I was so hungry. I was having contractions, and then like they were like 30 minutes apart. Well, we're on the road, and they become like 15 minutes apart. I was like, oh, we're not going to make it home. I shouldn't have done this. They didn't have Uber at the time, like Uber like delivers, so it was like crap. But I mean, basically, like after that, like when I leave work, I'm facing traffic on the way home, and then the tunnels.
Well, let's back up a little bit, because we can wrap up your day, and then we'll get into the whole thing. So, what time did you say you were done again?
2:30.
2:30. Now, is there something you have to do, like, at your area to clean up end the day?
Yes.
What do you got to do?
So every day we take the machine apart. We start with sterile water to get any, like, dust or remnants of pills, wherever. Start that, and then we use alcohol. We alcohol everything down. We then at that point check like where the sealers are at to see if like there's any like stickiness from the cellophane and all that stuff. We check to see if there's any pills lurking around that we didn't catch. We make sure the rubber seals are sealing and they are cleaned off.
Is there a procedure for that? Like, if
yeah.
there's pills laying around, you gotta register that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, if we do find pills, we mark it down. We also have a container that we put them into that's non-biohazard. And then we take it to our guy who is our waste person in the back.
Well, I mean, more of like, are they pills missing from someone who needed them, like down the line, or are they from the filling portion of the
filling portion?
Okay, so they're not missing out.
Yeah, they're not. No. Normally that's caught way beforehand because like I said, machines can be temperamental. Sometimes pills are too small and they will roll out if it's not tight enough. Some of the machines, there's a handle that makes it tighter. It doesn't like it, and it will start to curl over. It's like they have their own mind, and I don't get it. But I know the one day I was having like pills roll out. There was no like I had like 30 pills roll out on me, and like I was ready to just like I looked at one of my partners and I'm like, I gotta go. I was like, I gotta walk out. He's like, you go for a walk. I'll fix this for you. I'm like, okay. And then I got back and he goes, I can't fix it. And I'm like, that's how it went down. But then
I'm
we
picturing some kind of I Love Lucy conveyor belt situation where you're just kind of like losing your mind.
That actually kind of happened this week with one of the one of the other girls. Like she was so flustered, and I looked at her and I said, "Switch me, just switch me spots." And the pharmacist was like, she was like, the poor girl. And I was like, I got this. I'm in there and I got this. And I'm pushing it. And so then she was good for a couple hundred meds. And next thing you know, it just does whatever it did to her. And she's like, you didn't fix it. I'm like, great. I was like, that's just great. Like, I don't have to tell you, call it in. Like, we have a people that we call in case like something's broke or we can't fix it. They will have their technicians come out and take a look at it because it's a contract.
Yeah.
After that, we have an air can that we spray into the machine, again, for dust or pills, just like any extra we didn't get. There are sign sheets to let us know who cleaned what day, filling up rods, numbers, making sure the pegboards are all out.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm a little distracted. Your giant dog is sitting on the couch like a person, and he's just staring at me. She's
Bristol
staring. What's up, buddy?
She turned her head too. She does that. She
sits
like
human look.
Like literally, her legs are sprawled out like a human.
Mm-hmm.
Oh look, yep. Got her attention.
Here she comes.
She'll jump up. Let's see if she'll do it. Come here.
Oh, she's gonna be taller than me.
How
much does that dog weigh?
150 pounds.
150 pounds.
Hold on, let's see if she'll do it. Come here, girlie. Come here. Up. Jump. Good girl.
That is a lot of dog.
That's my girl. Down. Good girl. She is a lovable pooch. I must recommend English Mastiffs, always. I mean, they're not for everybody, but she is the most gentle giant you'll ever meet.
No, I love a big dog.
I mean,
Isn't
honestly.
that right? All right, back to it. So how long does the cleaning process work? Like, what time are you saying, like, okay, time to wrap it up? I gotta leave here.
I normally take about 15 minutes. Everybody is different, but I like to be thorough as much as possible. So I normally kind of start at like 2:10. And then because I clock out like 2:25 technically, so I take as much time as I can. Plus, I'm gonna get the hell out of there. Like, I'm just done. Like, I'm tired of seeing pills, and I'm tired of it. I want to go home.
All right, so you said the commute home is a lot different than the commute there. Mm-hmm. So, what time are we talking? Are you listening to the same kind of stuff? What's going on?
At that point, so I clock out at 2:25. I rush to my car, get in my car, and then I call. Mm-hmm. And I'm on the phone with him the whole way to, like the other. Well, I think they might need diaper change.
Take your time. Do whatever you gotta do. I can cut it out later. It's not a big deal. Okay, so we are at driving home.
Mm-hmm.
We're on the phone.
Yep.
Let's just pick it up from there.
So, like, I'll call him and say, "What are you doing?" He's waiting in line because it's easier for us to pick him up because I never know what time I'm going to get home here, and I never know what time they would drop him off from the bus. So it's just best until he gets into kindergarten, goes into he will be picked up from. And then at that point, I get on to and they're at by Aldi's in the parking lot, and we swamp at that point.
Gotcha.
And then he's off to work, and then I come home. And then I wait for him. Currently, right now, his TSS comes in the evening. But because summer is coming, we'll be swamping. So I'll be doing different stuff in the summertime. I'll be probably going to the park or playing on a pool pass. So
Nice.
let them swim, run off some energy, get me into shape. So, and then dinner. I do music therapy with every night. I sing it in my sleep sometimes because it's just that embedded in me.
Yeah.
But and then bed. Well, I at least get an hour to myself. Maybe not really because he sits there all the time. And I have to watch because TV shows that I watch, he wants to watch, and I'm like, oh no. like I wanted to watch Botched, and I was like, no, you can't watch that. And he was like, why can't I watch that? No.
Yeah, my first thought was like, oh, headphones. Headphones aren't. That's not fixing Botched.
Right, exactly.
So, let's just say you get an hour to yourself, and what time are you going to bed?
Anywhere from 8:30 to 9.
Okay.
Because I keep him on a schedule because it helps him with his ADHD. So, and we have a routine where we do a book, and then we'll read from the children's Bible, and then I do like a made up fairy tale night story, and then we say prayers, and that's it. It's bedtime. So that takes roughly about like 20 minutes.
Okay.
You know, it helps him, keeps him in check, and trying to teach him like better stuff, like keeping him on track as much as possible. I'd like to say like, yeah, my job is great, but I would say more like the more job that I could probably go into is the job of being a mom.
Yeah.
Like, and especially with 2 special needs kids.
Oh, well, we can always do a round 2.
Okay,
I mean,
that's fine.
I'd definitely like some insight into that. We haven't had that episode yet, so.
I would definitely, for sure, especially like with autism and ADHD, I feel like I have a lot to offer.
Uniquely qualified.
Yeah.
We could definitely fill up an hour.
That's awesome.
Okay, so we'll wrap up your day real quick. So you said sleep 8:39, is that what it was? Do you have any sleep rituals, anything to help you go to sleep?
The bedtime stories and all that stuff. My medicine. I take medicine at night. Unfortunately, my sleep is always broken. My youngest does not sleep very well. And 9 times out of 10, he's either up 3 or 4 times a night. And depending, it's either for 1 to 2 hours or what. So,
okay.
That's my oldest dog. She's Bailey. She's 14.
Oh.
He's a beagle poo.
Beagle poo?
Beagle poodle mix. Soft fur of a poodle, all look like a beagle in the way.
Okay, so one last thing about the job, and then we'll get into the fun stuff. What kind of advice could you give to someone who would want to get into this kind of field?
Definitely, for sure. You want to no weekend, no holiday. It's up your alley, because the thing, like, because like the hospital came in up here, and at the time, somebody was like, "You should go there," and I was like, "No, it's a suburban hospital. I would get paid less," because not a lot of people know that, because suburban versus city, you do get paid less for a suburban hospital. It's smaller. The bigger the hospital,
Yeah, I mean, I guess that makes sense.
it does. But you wouldn't think, being a like companies, I should say. In my eyes, and probably everybody else's eyes, fairness all around.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like if you're gonna start out at $10 an hour, start out at $10 an hour. Not because you work at a suburban, you're gonna make $5 an hour. That's not all true, but I'm just saying that's what the throwdown is of all of that. Yeah. But me myself, when I moved down, like I realized what I was getting into, not moving around as much and being in a smaller environment. But the having no weekends and no holidays has been a benefit for my family. And if that's something you're looking for, good. Find it and go. Especially if you want to start a family, or if you're just starting a family. Who cares how old you are? You can retire like that. Like, that's bank. You know? And you got a steady pay. And not only on, sometimes when holidays are on weekends, you get that Monday after.
Yeah.
So, like, literally, it's a win-win.
So how to get in, like, just say there was someone in, like, high school or not working out in college, what's the avenue to go down to get into something like this?
Definitely for sure to start off in the hospital. Because the thing is when you start in the hospital, it is always best that you can grow in the hospital faster.
Yeah.
Because my thing is, and I'm not trying to put down schools or colleges. My poor husband went to college, you know that. Uh-huh. Doesn't do anything with his degree.
I know. I do a fair bit of putting down college on this show. So
well, okay.
I'm not mad at it.
Like, that's all right. You don't need college. You don't. I am not going to force my children to go to college, because here's my thing. Target is paying $15 an hour.
That true?
That is true.
Huh.
So true. One of my friend's daughters works there. And my thing is, if they are getting nearly paid as what an ultrasound technician gets paid, or like a pharmacy technician or a medical assistant, you know, stuff like that, the lower end stuff. Like, I should not say like the ultrasound. Probably ultrasound gets paid a little bit more, but
someone who actually went to school for a certain thing, and this guy's over here at Target.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Like, that's where I draw the line. And my thing is, if my boys want to start there, go for it, dude.
Yeah.
And work your way up, because there's always room for growth. And no matter what, then you work your way into that, because that's what I've done my whole life. I mean, even my first job at 16, which this is really funny. At 16, I started at Denny's in North Versailles. Mm-hmm. Grandmother worked there. Mm-hmm. And didn't know. Never knew that or anything.
Yeah.
I was a waitress. I was a hostess. Then I went from a hostess to being a camp counselor. Then I tried dispatch police department. Then I went to a senior care facility. I kept going.
Just bouncing around.
Yeah, you don't give up. Because the thing is, when you don't give up, that's when you win.
Yeah.
And when I first started my first job, I was making $6 an hour. And now where I'm at, definitely. Like, I know I fought to get where I'm at right now. Yeah. And I don't look back. You know, I don't regret not going to college.
Well, it seems like it's all worked out now.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. True, right?
All right, well, I think that's pretty good advice. I'll go with that. Let's do some of the fun stuff, and then I'll get out of your hair.
All right.
Okay. What's your ideal breakfast? Like on vacation, have whatever you want.
Oh, I always love a good ham and cheese omelet with home fries and white toast and jelly.
There we go.
Like, I'm simple.
What's the best advice you ever got?
Best advice I ever got. Oh, I might get emotional in this. Years ago, when my mom was dying, my mom passed away, and I just had And one of the girls, like, I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. And she looked at me and she said, we all called her Mom.
Mm-hmm.
And it was hard for me to call somebody else Mom because I'm very strict on that stuff. But she was like, you make your own traditions. And ever since then, I've made my own traditions.
I think that's great.
You know, I don't have any blood brothers or sisters, but I have a cousin who is like the best brother I could ever ask for. And that is, we do everything together, holidays, birthdays. We are side by side. And that's what we do.
I think that's great. Making your own traditions. I try to do that with my friends. And
Yeah.
I'm not going to get into it, but yeah, I agree with that fully. That's a very good answer.
Mm-hmm.
What movie do you think you've seen the most?
Movie?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. I think there's a couple.
Go ahead, shoot.
One, Backdraft. It's my
Okay.
favorite movie of all time.
All right.
2, The Miracle Worker.
Miracle Worker. What?
It's based off of Helen Keller.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
That movie, yeah.
That's yep. I would say those 2 for sure.
Awesome. What's your biggest fear?
Clowns.
Clowns. All right.
I hate clowns for the life of me.
Fantastic. See, I knew that dog was going to open the door by itself.
Oh my god.
Good job, buddy.
I can't believe you did that. Your dog opened up the door.
Just like a real person. Look at you.
Human dogs.
Any candy in the world will you have?
Ooh, I don't think. I have a picture of it. It's those cigarette candies, not the ones that are
Right
gum.
behind
Is that?
On the
Oh
picture.
yeah. This.
Oh yeah.
It's not the bubble gum ones.
The plain white ones, the
Yeah.
white sticks. Yeah.
These are it. And I found it at S&S Candy in.
Yeah, and then the south side.
Yep, and they sell them by the box for $4.90. They've 24 in a box for $4.95.
A whole carton.
Mom,
Yes. Hurry up! Come on, spit it out.
wait. Some people call that's bad for you because people keep on holding it like they're adults, like kids.
Oh, honey. We'll talk about that later.
Actually, Charlie actually explained it to me, like.
Well, we'll talk about it later. Speaking of.
Have the candy cigarette talk.
That's what they do. They do this.
Well, that's what's natural.
It's not natural.
I'll
They're
tell you later.
smoking like an adult, then they get.
Mommy used to smoke.
Then they have to go to their jail.
Daddy made me stop.
I thought you were going to say something about this giant thing of banana Laffy Taffies.
That
and then I was
was
make
from the
fun of
baby's
it.
birthday party. I had a giant.
Why banana? Why
Candy.
is that whole thing banana?
I don't know.
It's the worst flavor. It's the worst.
It was for a party.
Here you go. Disappoint some kids. All right, back to the question. Do you have a childhood hero?
Helen Keller.
Helen Keller. All right. What kind of soap do you use?
Soap. Oh jeez.
You can interpret the question any way you want.
We do a lot of organic soaps actually.
Yeah?
We buy it's the one with the goat milk in it or something.
Yeah,
like that.
I forget the name, but I know what you're talking about.
I know we buy it at Giant Eagle all the time, but he likes that stuff. Like he's into that. So, if anything, we splurge on that.
Fancy. If someone gave you $1,000 right now, what would you do with it?
I would pay off a couple credit cards probably.
Mm-hmm.
Probably.
Classic adult bummer answer.
What
about your What about your 18-year-old self? $1,000.
Oh shit. I drank a lot when I was 18. I was a wild child back in the day. Like, I'm pretty sure that most people you talk to, I was like, yeah, probably like going to bar hopping and Yeah, I was me and my cousin were really we drank a lot.
So that's
Probably drinking.
$1,000 to get you a nice bar hop.
Oh my god. Oh, rack it up fast.
All right, what's your biggest pet peeve?
I think people being ignorant, because I can snap like that in a second.
Give me an example.
Well,
I feel like something came to your mind when you said it.
Okay, so for example, this was funny. It's not funny, but it's funny. We were at Denny's, and the line was too long, and I was like, "There's no way we can be here." There was two gentlemen in front of us. One got a takeout order, and the other one just paid. So was ahead of us. Holds the door for them. We're behind me, and we're behind them. They don't even hold the door. They let the door kind of smack them.
Yeah.
And I was like, one's on the phone, one's not saying anything. And I'm like, what the heck? Like, guys, you see I have a little kid here. I have a little in the other hand. So I have two kids. So, this one lady, as she saw that I was struggling, she held the door. I was like, thank you, ma'am. That was so kind. I was like, these jackwagons in front of us, on the other hand, don't want to have and help anything. I was like, you know what? Don't grow up to be like them, you morons. Like, shut up, please. I was flipping out because I'm struggling. I was like, they weren't doing anything, and I had the kids in them. I just lost it. That and I get road rage usually too.
Yeah.
We were going to St. Vincent de Paul's, and because we were looking for it was something he had to scavenge for school.
Yeah.
When I made the turn into the parking lot, the person was on the wrong side. So there's two sides, an in and an out. They were on the inside, so I had to go around them. They were going out the wrong way.
Yeah.
Well, the guy got ticked with me because he thought I was going to hit them.
Yeah.
Flicking me off. Mm-hmm. Now, keep in mind, we know what Duck Dynasty looks like, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Envision this. They had a blazer. He's flicking me off, swearing. He's like, what the is wrong with this guy? I park, jamming into park. I get out, not realizing is right behind me at this whole point. And I was like, you got something to say? You want to say something to me? I'm like, okay, Duck Dynasty, why don't you get out of your car and you say something to me? I was like, where is your duck whistle? And I just was going off. Well, was still following me at this point, and then he got out of his car, and I said, oh, you ready? I said, are you really ready? Because you're going to hit a woman? We're going to see what the cops say about this. And my husband was like, hey, standing there he was ready to go at them. So I get really I'm a fireball when it comes to that stuff.
Good. I like it. I'm still laughing about the word jackwagon. That makes me very happy. Good. I like a little digression like that. It's good stuff. Where do you see yourself in 10 years?
I'm hoping to have a campsite or an RV or something like that.
Yeah.
So then that way we have a place to go to.
Yeah.
I want to get away.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
Yeah, that's a good goal. I like that. Tipping custom.
Ooh. I go off by the performance of people. So because I was a server. Mm-hmm. I start out people giving me their names. I am particular. Pepsi, no ice. Coke, no ice. You give me ice, strike one.
All right.
Bad idea. Then if you're late on not refilling, strike two. If you're really good to me, I'll give you anywhere from $10 to $15.
So not a percentage, you're just flat rate.
Yeah, flat rate.
Nice.
I have the one day, there was this girl who was extremely above and beyond. I gave her a $15 tip, nearly hit the ceiling. Mm. And I was like, what? I was like, it's nice. And the one day I gave somebody 20, and was like, Jesus! He was ready to have a conniption.
Well, that's the thing though. Sometimes that really makes someone's day, and
and even for when I have pizza people delivering,
mm-hmm.
I give them at least $6 tips, only because my husband and my brother-in-law had their pizza shop,
mm-hmm.
so I respect out of that. I know a lot of their people who they worked with. So
yeah, good answer. I like it. What's something you wish you learned earlier?
I probably wish I learned earlier on how to listen to others and not it's kind of like how our pastor describes it. You act in your flesh, but you don't act in your spirit. So like in our flesh, like sometimes like when we're in road rage, we're acting in our flesh.
Okay.
Where our spirit is probably kind of like, hold it to yourself, don't do anything, just say, may God bless you, and that's it. But really, our flesh is like, mother, like
here, Duck Dynasty.
Yeah, exactly.
Childhood celebrity crush.
Kurt Russell, but he's not like he's old.
give me a era of Kurt Russell in.
All Kurt Russell.
Okay.
He is still hot even at playing Santa Claus this past Netflix series.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I love Kurt Russell.
What's one thing you change about yourself?
My feet.
What?
If there could be a foot transplant, I would gladly accept it.
What, can you elaborate a little bit?
Yeah, so like I have my father's feet. They're ugly. And they're disgusting. They have that fungi on them which gets thick and it embeds into your skin.
Ugh.
And the pill that provides to help get rid of it damages your kidneys.
Oh, cool.
So like, yeah, let's just damage my kidneys. But and then like they get itchy, so like when I scratch them, they get like flaky, like almost like athlete's foot looking, but they're not athlete's foot, and they suck. I even tell my father, because my father has a big nose, and I got my mommy's nose. My father's family has huge noses, like that comes out. Mm-hmm. I was blessed with my mother's nose, cursed with my father's feet.
Hey, it happens. It happens. Moving on. What's the hardest time you ever laughed?
Oh, jeez. I don't know.
Just something that comes to mind. You don't have to think too hard about it.
I have something to say, but it's perverted.
I mean, I'm not censoring anything.
But he's here. I can't.
Yeah, that was my way of saying it. Your discretion. It's your kids here.
Because, let's just say, there was something that happened, and was like, Mommy, are you okay? You could bleep that out later. And I was like, had a nightmare, and that's it.
Fair enough. I think the audience could fill in the rest. Guilty pleasure.
Mint chocolate chip ice cream.
That's a good one. What type of music do you listen to and why?
I listen to like a multi thing. Like actually, like and I were talking about it today because one of his coworkers was like, "I'm gonna get you young again," because the guy's like 23, 24, and he's like, "Well, what did you listen to?" So we were like recapping like what we used to listen to. So like I like used to listen to like ICP, Slipknot, Limp Bizkit, Gangster's Paradise, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And he's like, yeah, that was me too. I was like, yeah, we're old, and that's about it. And then, like, there's country, and there's Christian. I'm a wide variety. Even, like, Gongorian music. I like that, too.
So, I don't know. What's the last piece of music you bought, then? Let's go with that.
I haven't really bought anything since I have my Napster on my phone. Probably the last music that I put into my phone was called Live On Forever by the Afters.
Okay, what kind of music is that?
That's Christian.
Okay. Well, I guess we could throw in the why. What's the...
Well, it more sounds like translucent. Like if you're kind of like... Sorry, God. Sorry I'm saying this right now. If you were high, you would probably be like in a wave of rainbow. It sounds like that in a way. So... I'm more of an upbeat than, like, downbeat.
Okay, that works. Let's see. What's something you're bad at?
Cleaning.
Alright, we covered sleep routine. Just wrap it up with this one. If you could do anything, any job in the world, what would it be?
I think a private investigator.
Really?
I'm good with that. Like, I'm good with trying to figure out. I figure out a lot of problems, and I think that's where my youngest gets it from. But like, honestly, I used to say to my girlfriend, I was like, we're gonna have a mini PI, because her husband does some police officer stuff, and I was like, your husband will be in charge, your dog will be our mascot. Like, I used to say that. But she definitely, for sure, I would rock at PI.
All right.
Like, I would, like, I'm pretty good. Like, if you give me names and all that stuff and just give me, like, little things, I'll be able to find it.
Yeah. Good stuff. Well, thank you for doing the show.
You're welcome.